Hello and welcome to Boomerand Beyond Wellness and the Have It Your Way workout series. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today's exercise is called the unilateral, meaning one side at a time, standing hip flexion. Now, I want to put a little ... in on that because there's also going to be knee flexion, a bent knee. Now, the accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat, a chair. Now, the chair is close by because indeed this is going to involve balance. So I do want you standing near something just in case you do need to reach out. On my right leg, it's technically my left leg, I have already placed a 5-pound ankle weight, and we'll also be using an exercise loop, also known as a mini resistance band. Now remember, whenever you work with a band or a loop, you want to hold it up to the light, scan it, and look for any tiny little pinholes or a cat tooth hole. You know, that's because I have T and he's definitely chewed into my bands before. So you just want to make sure there's no hole, because if there is, I would say discard the band, because I know what it is like to get hit in the face with it when it snaps. Trust me, it really hurts the skin, folks. Now, before we go any further, we're going to talk about medical disclaimers and precautionary measures. First off, blanket statement. If you have any chronic health concern at all, please preview my videos. Don't participate right away. However, look for what you can do. But if you're unsure, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well to help you make an informed decision. Now, specific to this video, well, both the mat and the band are made out of latex. So if you have a latex allergy, you do want to look for non-latex or latex-free. Now, for this whole rest of what I'm about to say, folks, these are the people that really need to seek further medical advice to do this exercise if you have the following. So, if you have acute pain, injury, or recent surgery to that lumbar spine, that lower back area. Also, if you have had a hip replacement or osteoporosis of the hip, also even osteoarthritis of the hip, if you have hip impingement, if you have any tears or instability at the hip joints, please find out from your medical doctors if this is appropriate before proceeding. Now, the muscles that are going to be activated and benefited. Wow, there are many, so I've got this list and I'll be checking here for you. So first off, we have the hip flexors, and in particular, the iliopsoas muscle. We also have the quadriceps involved, the hamstrings, the gluteals. I seem to be mentioning some core muscles, right? Yes, I am. I'm going to continue doing that for a little bit. Also, back erector muscles. They run up and down both sides of the spine and literally keep us erect. Yes, abdominal muscles, and especially that I always like to point out is the deepest of the core, which would be the transverse abdominis, kind of like our internal girdle, internal corset, really the deepest of the abs. And also pelvic floor muscles, also core muscles. Now we're going to travel down to the lower leg area. We have the shin area, anterior tibialis, then the lateral side, the outside of the lower legs, which were formerly known as peroneal muscles, are now called fibularis longus and fibularis brevis, giving you an idea that they are located near the fibular bone, I should say. And also we have at the back of the low legs, we have the calf muscles, but in particular, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. So I do love to choose exercises that would be very helpful for a healthy aging process if they affect a lot of different muscles and joints. And this one absolutely does this. Now, the activities of daily living that are benefited, or even just basic movements, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So this is helpful for stability, mobility, balance, which we already mentioned, and then it's really great for certain sports. So if you're a runner, a swimmer, a cyclist, if you're a climber, great exercise for you. It's also very helpful for standing up from a chair and sitting back down into the chair. And doesn't this sound like something we do a lot of around here? That's a squat, right? So getting up and down from the chair, in and out of your car seat, and frankly, up and down from the commode. It's going to help you with that. It will also help us to get out of bed in the morning, right? Sometimes there's that stiffness and achiness. And one of my main reasons for picking this exercise is because it's known to help lessen or lower low back pain. And I know a lot of you could really benefit from that. Now, a couple of gentle reminders. Always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. When you're working out on your own. This is not a workout, folks, but it is a good tip. Also, do make sure you keep yourselves properly hydrated with water, and unless you have been medically advised not to drink a lot of water, then you don't, and maybe this could be for kidney or bladder issues. Pay attention to what your doctor suggests. Now on the channel, I want you to look for a warm-up and a cool-down video. One video where you can interchange the movements. It's very important for those of us 55 and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout. Now, I want you to go to the Post tab on the channel, formerly known as the Community tab, and you want to look for a link to the RPE chart, Rating of Perceived Exertion. So this is a 0 through 10 subjective scale, which is an excellent tool to help gauge your sense of effort. Perhaps you don't know how to take your training heart rate. Okay, you use the scale. If you are on certain medications like beta blockers or have a pacemaker. So for those two in particular, what I would do is simply print out the chart, print it out, and bring it to your medical doctor, in particular if you have heart issues, to your cardiologist. Because I'm going to recommend an RPE between 3 and 6 for the demographic of Boomerang Beyond Wellness. However, you might have a little bit of a different range. And I'm just going to give you a heads up. Based on my clients who take that chart to their cardiologist, the cardiologist is tougher than I am. So absolutely feel free to show it and get your approval. Also, within that Post tab, you always want to look for, I should say, I always provide for each Have It Your Way workout. I always provide a reference image, reference screenshots, and also either a reference article or a reference study. So now what are we going to do here today with this unilateral standing hip flexion exercise? Well, we're going to do one set, and a set is a group of 8 to 15 repetitions, and today we're going to do this just a little differently. So for the first 5 repetitions, I'm going to be working on my left leg. You see it as the left, it's really my real right leg. There's nothing on this leg, nothing at all, so you're going to be doing it without external resistance. But on this leg, I have a 5-pound ankle weight. And so if you have ankle weights, I want you to try it. If you feel strong enough, it's a great thing to try. And finally, if you don't have them, but maybe you have that exercise resistance band, the mini version or the loop, we're going to try it with this as well. Back to that original leg. So before we go any further, we want to review the athletic ready stance. So I'm going to look down here and then place my hands on the inside of my high hip bones, called the iliac crest. And I'm going to point down, lining up ankles to knees to the inside of the hip bone, turning to the side for the females in the house particularly. So you want to avoid coming into a tipping of the pelvis forward, an anterior pelvic tilt. We don't want to do that. We want to do a subtle posterior pelvic tuck and also drawing the belly button in. So we're going to begin here. Now, I do want to say to you that I like to pull from yoga a bit. So there's a concept of in yoga where you're working two different movements at the same time. So when I go to press down in this leg, I'm going to use that to help me lift the opposite leg. Now I want you to see something here. That is ankle dorsiflexion. So it's the toes to the nose. I push down on the right, belly button in to lift the left. So I exhale to lift, inhale to lower. The ankle comes a little forward of the knee. Breath in and out through the nose. Now, for some people, doing it straight up and down could be an issue. So I'm going to turn it out, but what we don't want to do, folks, is rotate the whole body. It's going to be a turnout only from the hip joint. If you need to hold on for balance, then you do so. So you can do it this way. It's not my preferred, but if that's the position you can do it in, great. Now, let's shift on over to the ankle weight. That means I'm going to push down into the left leg. I'm dorsiflexing the right foot. I like arms out. It helps me a little bit more with balance. And now push down to lift. And exhale up. Now I'm playing here with not landing the heel to the floor. And up. One more. Pause. And slowly lower. Now I'm going to remove that ankle weight. Yes, you hear the Velcro. And now what we do here, this is kind of real specific. So I put the loop around and under the ball of my right leg. Because I want to work the left leg, I'm going to insert it, my foot here, through that loop, and then I place the loop over the laces of the opposite foot. I bring it a little forward. Now, I'm not going to be able to bring it way out in front, so that's okay. But I am going to work still in dorsiflexion. Why? Because I want to strengthen your shin muscles too. They contribute to balance. So I'm going to push down on the right and lift up and down and up and down. So I'm not touching the floor, and if I need help, I just gently hold on. And up, last one, lower it down. So just carefully slip it off. And that's what we have for you today, folks, here at Boomer and Beyond Wellness. Folks, if you like the channel, please help us and by subscribing, sharing the video, giving it a kind comment, and don't forget to hit that reminder bell. And also, if you would like to receive my newsletter, which is free, you can go to my website, which is boomerandbeyondwellness.com, look for the subscribe tab, and upon subscribing, you will immediately receive a thank you video, which is a total body workout that I designed exclusively for newsletter subscribers. So until next time, eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water. And I thank you so much. Take care.